Greetings everyone, welcome to Missy's Imaginings. Today I thought I would show some progress I've made on making soles for shoes for the Evangeline, no, this is the Ellowyne, here she is, Ellowyne by Tonner Wilde Imagination. And so this is my model. I'm not sure which doll she is. I got her a long time ago, secondhand, and she was bald and nude. So then I bought this wig from, I think it was from the actual Tonner company, or I found it on eBay, I don't remember, too many years ago. But anyway, I want to, let's see if we can position her feet here. I wanted to make shoes for her, just to practice making some shoes for her. So I started with just some, I think it's polymer Sculpting clay. So I have some that was a beige color, which I had used to try sculpting a doll, and I was very sad because I got her all finished and then it just kind of crumbled and fell apart. So I haven't really used it that much for a long time, so I thought I'd dig it out and try. And I wanted to make a sole that I like and then eventually try casting it in resin. But I've just been practicing. So when you want to try something, just know that practice makes perfect. It just takes time to practice. I am not a natural sculptor by any stretch of the imagination, but I'll kind of go over what I did. So I rolled out some. This pair over here, I actually sculpted, I rolled out a flat piece and then sculpted around kind of her foot. There's, let's see here if I can, maybe see if I can get closer inside and see if you can see. There we go. Inside, I tried to put a spine in the vamp of the shoe here, and just because I kind of like the look, but that was very difficult to try to get that. And I had the clay molded pretty much, and it was really soft, and these were by far the most difficult pair, and it was my first pair, so that kind of explains it. All in all, the heel to me looked like it tilted in like that direction a little more than I wanted. So although I like this pair, I like the thinness of the heel. It's real skinny there. This pair was the most difficult to get the shoes even. Inside the heel, I actually cut a toothpick and put the clay around the toothpick so that it would be more sturdy. So the heel actually, though it could break off the shoe, the heel won't break off, you know, in half, because there's a wooden dowel toothpick in the middle of it. And these have the point of the toothpick pointed down, and then I just snipped it off with some wire cutter, you know, about there, and put it, well, up to the top about there, so that the toothpick comes almost to the top. So this was the first pair, and they're not quite exact, but I like how the heel was narrow. This one's a little more narrow than this one, but once it's baked, you can use an X-Acto knife to kind of finish shaping, but it's hard to do that when the clay is really soft, because it just keeps bending on you. So that was my first pair, and oh, put them on the right side there, and I'm satisfied with how they turned out, but they weren't my fave. Then I tried another pair where I kept the sole just very thick and a thicker heel, and I wanted to try making the heel a little more straight so that it wouldn't look like it was bending in too much. And these still ended up bending in a little bit. And although I like these, they were kind of fat, so I wanted to carve away from them, but I found out that I had my toothpick placed too far to the back. So let's see if that'll show. So once I went to finish shaping and carving that, it cut right to the toothpick. So this pair will be scrapped. And so that was my second attempt. And on this one, I went ahead and just kept the thickness of the sole, and then I was going to kind of carve it after it was baked, because like I say, when they're soft, it's really hard to get the shape you want. So that was my second attempt. They'll end up being scrapped because you can see the toothpick coming out, so we'll get rid of those. The last pair here I tried in, it's called granite, the clay, so it's this one. And so this pair, once again, I kept the sole just a thick slab, and when I'm fitting them, I do actually fit them, let's see if we can get her back in camera, to her feet so that they'll fit. And I traced the sole of her foot, there's the other one, and so they do lose a little bit of shape when they bake. But this pair was in fact my favorite pair. When I sculpted this pair, the heel wasn't quite as thick as this pair, but it was a lot thicker than they are now. And then once I bake them, I just use the X-Acto knife to gently kind of carve away what I don't want. And I still might have a couple little spots in here where I just gently kind of trim out what I don't want if I see a little lumpy spot. And then this kind of clay can also be sanded. And so this pair I like the best because I think the heel is a little more sturdy than this pair. I like the thinness of this pair, but I don't know, the shoe just didn't fit quite as well. So this pair I think turned out the best, and of course it's my third pair, so it's more practice. So what we're going to do is, I thought for this video we'd kind of go over those. So these will be scrapped, we'll have to throw those away, goodbye. And this pair, I thought we'll go ahead and varnish them and see how it looks. Now this stuff, I already made a mistake because it said don't shake it. And of course I already did. It says stir it well. So we'll use a toothpick here and stir it well, I guess. There we go. There we go. So we'll stir it well, and you just apply it with a brush. And so I have a handy paintbrush here. So we'll put in the varnish. And it says that it'll dry, well, like 30 minutes between coats. And then it takes like 24 hours to completely dry. So I thought what we'll do is we'll go ahead and varnish these and see if they turn out kind of pretty once they're varnished. Like I say, I've never tried this, so you can learn with me, I guess. And I'm sure a lot of you are experts in this, and I am not. So if you have advice, you can throw it down in the comments, because I'm sure lots of people will appreciate to hear from someone who actually knows what they're doing when I really don't. And I'll probably not do the very sole of the shoe this time. I'll do that on the next one so I can sit it down and let it dry. But we'll get the sides and see if this shines it up. Oh, and makes it look nice. There we go. And these ones, I kept the sole kind of thick and then just kind of trimmed down the toe. See how it kind of scoops up on the toe there. Let's get closer to the camera. And I did that after they were baked. So anyway, that's kind of what I'll try. But I like this granite design of clay. I thought it was kind of pretty. And I thought it'd make a nice shoe. So we'll varnish this. But I think later I want to try casting these in resin. And so I wanted to get a design that I'm fairly happy with, you know, how it turns out if I'm going to make a mold. And I did buy all the mold making equipment, well, the mix to make a silicone rubber mold. So there we go. So we'll go ahead and I'll clean out my brush, and I'll have to wait 30 minutes to do the next coat. and I'll come back to the camera while we do the next one. So here we are. We're going to add another coat to our shoes here on the top. They look pretty nice and shiny. So we'll do one more coat on the top. I did the underneath a little while ago. I thought we'll do one more here. And then to be completely dry, the instructions say takes about 24 hours. So there's the last coat of varnish on those shoes. And I better do this. There we go. And I thought, if you'd like to see, I have a package of, let's see if the picture will show the colors. There we go. A while ago I got some clays, and there's several colors in the package, and I thought it'd be fun. I'll go ahead and do one more pair of shoe soles out of black, and so if you'd like to watch how I sculpt them, I'm not a very good sculptor, but if that would interest you, then I'll go ahead and speed up the camera, because it does take a little while, but then you can see how I actually make the shoes, and then I'll go ahead and have a pair of black soles as well. This is a lot softer than that, so that's interesting, but I'll go ahead and do up another pair so you can kind of see how I do it. So here are the finished soles once they've been varnished. I went ahead and also varnished these little beige ones, and once they're varnished, they look so much better. This one, you can kind of see the toothpick poking out, so I actually dabbed a couple layers of varnish on the heel just to kind of protect the tip of that. I did it on all the shoes, so it kind of filled in the little opening and made it a little bit less wobbly. And also a note on the black, once I got the varnish on, well, once I cleaned them and then put the varnish on, all that weird color went away from when I was trimming them down. You know how it got that weird brownish color. You can still see a little bit here, but for the most part it blends in really well and just turns back to black. And then I bought all that stuff so I can cast, you know, the mold in resin, but I actually like how the polymer clay turns out once it's baked and varnished. And I mean, you can hear they're plasticky. It's like hard plastic, which I haven't done a lot with this polymer clay before, except, like I say, that doll that fell apart and it was very sad. But anyway, but yeah, once they're done, they're good and strong. So you could just do this if you're nervous about using resin and, you know, making the mold and everything. Just try your hand at sculpting the parts. So now that the base is ready, you can, let's see, I'm going to reach back behind the camera, get your sole that you used, you know, from the actual doll's foot, and use that as a template to make an insole that will fit onto the shoe. Let's see if my hand's in the way. And that way you can have a nice little insole. Then all your straps or your upper can tuck underneath the insole and then glue the whole thing onto the base. And then you can do little strappy heels or a little shoe or a boot, whatever you want to do. I'll probably use the black ones for the boot. Let's see, we'll scoot them over to the side here. I'll go ahead and put a photo over here. I think I'm going to use them for the little boots to go with this outfit that I, you know, did the yellow coat for, because it needed some black boots. But I didn't have any soles to make the boots for Ellowyne, so that's what I'll probably use these black ones for. But anyway, there's how they turned out. And the cool thing about using this polymer clay is if you do a shoe and you don't like it, I mean, first off, you can just smush it all up and start over again. And then once you bake it, you're still allowed a little work time into doing the final carving. I will say the black was a lot more sticky, and it got warm a lot faster and softer a lot faster than this. And this was like primo clay. This was original, so that could have something to do with it. This actually held its shape a little bit better while I was working with it. This tended to get really, really soft, and the second shoe especially was really soft. So if you get something basic that you like, but it still needs some work, what I did with these is I just let it sit for a few hours, and I came back and it had lost a lot of the heat. So it had stiffened up a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, so I could do a final little bit of adjusting on it before I baked them. And then once I had them baked, then I went ahead and did it out. I think I've got something in the edge of there. I'm not sure. But anyway, so there's our video on making shoe soles. And it was a lot more simple than I had envisioned, but it does take patience. Don't try to hurry. And like I say, just practice makes perfect. And if it gets too soft and smushy on you, then just walk away for a while and let it cool down, or just set it to the side and get a new piece of clay. Also, I will say, because it gets warm and very soft, it's not something that you just kind of manhandle your way through. You have to touch it lighter than firmer because it bends so easily. So you just kind of have to practice having a very light, soft touch, and then yeah, have fun with it. So we'll go ahead and put the boots together in another video, but for now I just kind of wanted to show my experimental process of making the soles. So there we go. Until next time, happy crafting and creating and sewing, and I'll see you then. Bye.